All right, good morning. We are live Thursday, September 30th. Taking a look, see who's in here already. Got Noar. What is this? Rocket Lab USA initiated at buy with $22 target price at Stifle. And then Dole. Yeah, Dole was one I saw being called out on Twitter yesterday. I'll pull that up in 1 second. Let's see. Josh Stewart, what's up? Good morning. Div by Zero, Skip. Family's another one we'll talk about right now. FAMI. Michael, what's up? Good morning. Sly Dev. Let's see. Sir Lucky Charms. Nora says I'm optimistic about today, but there's a lot of FUD out there. Yeah. I don't know if anybody caught the Shamat interview, or at least the clips from it. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole interview. I don't even know where I could have found it at, but I saw some clips on Twitter last night. And he did mention CLOV, and specifically one that he was like still confident in the stock, everything else, but and the company. But he kind of took the opportunity to also, defend kind of the hit pieces that were put out and the FUD that was put out about it, in the past, and also to take some shots back at short sellers in general. And I think that was pretty. I'm happy to see that he's back out and talking and kind of and. He hasn't been like this, I don't think. The other day he tweeted something, like I forget what it was, but it seems like he's getting more actively involved now, and we haven't seen him. At least I haven't really recognized him kind of being like this since back in like maybe January or February. So, pretty exciting to see. I don't know if anything's gonna come of it, but I did think it was a pretty decent interview from the clips that I saw. Again, I didn't see the whole thing. I don't even know where you could find the whole thing yet. Big Nate, Michelle. And JJ, what's up? Took a couple CLOV mental health days, looking like some BS. Same BS, different day. Yeah. All right. So, Dole. I know someone just asked about that, but Dole just started getting some hype on Reddit yesterday. Let me pull this back. So this was, yesterday morning, started off somewhere around $15. Ran up to 16, closed at 15.89, and then kept ripping in after hours. 19.20, I think was the highest. Yeah, that was the highest it just got this morning. I don't know if I would jump on this at all. I mean, I'm trying to pull up. There we go. Just trying to get some data here on it real quick, but I guess the original question was, is it too late for Dole? For me, there's always going to be other opportunities. It's like, if you're asking if it's too late, it probably already is. And I guess I say that like, it's if you're going to jump into something like this, it's already up, what, about 25, 30%, just in after hours right now. And, it's already ran almost, what, 60%, just in a matter of 2 days. I kind of would rather just like hang back. If you're going to play it, have a tight stop loss on it, and move into it with momentum. And what I mean by that is, wait for, more, I guess, approach it more as a day trade and, look at it from a day trader's perspective instead of like, let me buy this and hold to be a part of some big move, Um, so, right now it looks like it's not really getting any volume anyway. So I would probably stick off this in general. But who knows? I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere and started moving yesterday. So, that could happen again. But yeah, I would myself stay away from this right now. Um, Junior Wills, what's up? The other question was about FAMI. That was one that it was on the list from, I think, Monday. Monday's kind of like, day trade list. Let me go to a 5-minute view just so we can kind of back out. And it is absolutely ripping right now. Kind of started yesterday. And then again this morning. If I remember correctly, we've been looking at so many tickers on here. Yeah, 178 million float. I mean, there's definitely some opportunities in there. If you kind of zoom out on it and just see where it's been and where it's at now, like the daily chart, it was at 19 cents. It just now got a crossover on the daily. So, I mean, if you take that into consideration, yeah, it's up, almost 100% or over 100% now when you factor in after hours, but still not oversold on a daily or anything like that. Previous high of 59 cents not too long ago. I mean, we're talking about just 20 days ago. And then if we zoom out even further, it has gone as high as 247. So I guess there's definitely some room to grow here. I don't know anything about the stock. If I had to look at just like strength and resistance levels over time, maybe, hold on, let me just zoom in a little bit just so we could see get kind of a closer look. But I would probably say somewhere in here around this 50-cent range, which it looks like right now we're trading. So we're still below. So, and then really hard to see unless we zoom in a little bit more. But, probably, like I said, this 50 cent right here, I'd be looking for as resistance, and maybe on the way back down, maybe some support somewhere around 40 cents, so somewhere in there. But it's also gapping up off 34 cents, so it could fall. It has got a lot of room to fall right now too. As it continues to go up, it looks like there is maybe some more longer term resistance you might run into, kind of at like 110 range. And then maybe again right up here at the 180 range. I'm just doing this kind of fast, but I mean, it's definitely getting a ton of volume right now. It's moving again. Definitely a lot of room for growth there. I mean, that's one that I'll probably have on my watch list today, to look for some opportunities in. Let's see. Looks like we had news yesterday. Acquired. They made an acquisition to expand forest-related business. Yeah. So it was an acquisition announcement yesterday. Just again, with a lot of these plays that have been running so much, always protect yourself. Always like, risk management, I think, is probably the biggest key if you're going to play anything like this. Like, you don't need to make everything in one big play, and I think that's kind of like the main mindset that you got to have is like, yeah, this thing's running, and I know it's easy to get caught up and see like what other people might post on social media, and they made these huge gains and everything like that. But I mean, even just to jump into a play, let's say right here, which would be like kind of like my entry point. When I talked about this the other day, when I'm day trading, I'm really looking for, kind of like this crossover of the 9 over the 20, one of my signals to get into something, but I also want to be trading over the 50. So I probably would have entered this somewhere around here if I was playing it. 41 cents. Well, even just to play this run up to 44, and catch a little bit on the way down, I mean, that's almost like what, a 7% gain. That's huge. Even if you get stopped out, and that's the risk management part I'm talking about. I would rather have a stop loss set and just get stopped out and protect my profits than, hold for the bigger play that may never come. Sure, it came this time, but what happens when it goes way down here? You want to protect, kind of have that risk management in place. Or, what a lot of other people do is they'll scale out. And sometimes I'll play it like that too. If I think that there might be room for a bigger move, maybe I'll just, on this first pop that you made 10% on, sell some, sell, maybe shave off like 25%. Okay, so now you're riding on some profits already that you've already locked away. Thing continues to rise. I mean, at this point, you're up, 15% or so, maybe sell a little bit more. Now you're up even higher. As you continue to go up, keep shaving some off until eventually you're playing for free. But risk management I think is huge when you're playing these kind of like big runners like this, because just as long as the momentum that it takes them to build up and get all the way up to 48 cents, or who knows how high this is going to go today, it can come down just as fast, if not faster. See here, KLF, what's up? I think I already said what's up to Junior Wills. Says been riding FAMI since Monday. Andy Smith, good morning. Matt Johnston, good morning. JG, Scotty Z, what's up? Who else? Mike Arcangelo. JG says CLOV, I believe, is bottomed out. Yeah. What's crazy? I haven't seen this in a while either, but like my Tradie Ticks has a it's got like a swing trade scanner built into it, that Tradie Tick software, where every day it'll kind of give you some ideas on what stocks they think are looking bullish right now. And CLOV came up on the scanner yesterday, so that was kind of cool. Cuckoo Bird, what's up? Good morning. Present Minds. Danny did it. What's up? All right, I think I got it. I said what's up to everybody so right now. So yeah, FAMI is definitely the big mover this morning. BBBY came up. It's gapping down right now. It looks like that one, I'm pretty sure, had some news behind it. Bed Bath & Beyond stock tumbles as earnings and guidance fall well short. So, again, though, playing a gap down right now. This is usually, kind of the opposite of these gap ups that we've talked about. Like, you look at the last couple of days, some of the ones I had on the watch list were ones that had gapped up tremendously. And then you see this like flush in the morning, right? Sometimes with these gappers, when they get oversold like this, they're gapping down. Even if this stock is going to continue to go lower, you might be able to find some entry points to jump in, for like a little quick pop and grab a little money once it kind gives you some buy signals. So right now I got that one on kind of that I'm watching too, but FAMI is absolutely ripping right now. And seems to be the play right now, at least. Let me see if anything else. Kamal B, what's up? Louis, Barack Badat, what's up? Dennis D. I just realized I don't have CLOV up here. Where's my... I switched it out for FAMY. That's why, or FAMI. Let's see here. Let me pull up some of my. So yesterday, Michael says, make sure you pick the Jaguars to win tonight, so you don't have to worry about it this weekend. Yeah, you know what? I'm not picking the damn Jaguars though. I don't think. But if you haven't made your picks already, don't forget. Don't be like me and be stuck having to pick the Monday night game because you forgot to you forgot to make your pick, and now Monday rolls around. What do we got? Jaguars, Bengals. I actually like the Bengals tonight. With no point spread at home. But anyways, let me see here. I just want to see what's going on with this real quick. Let's check out the dashboard. Looks like we still got a lot of people getting eliminated for not for forgetting to pick, which kind of sucks, but still quite a few people that are in, especially since we get the mulligans issued and stuff. So pretty fun right now. I'm trying to pull up how many people we have, and for some reason I'm getting this different view that doesn't show it to me. So whatever, we'll look at it later. All right, let me see here. Turch McGurch, good morning. 7-leaf clover, what's up? Michelle, just saw on Ortex Twitter that ATER short interest estimate is 44.6% of free float. Well, let's take a look at that. ATER, I've had that on my watch list for a couple days now. I said that, I was going to continue to kind of take a look on it. That was one that I wanted to, eventually probably jump in and just hold for a little bit because I think it's got the best squeeze fundamentals from a lot of these different plays, in terms of having like the total package, the short interest, the high cost to borrow, the high utilization, it's kind of got everything going on for it. And I really like the way that the daily chart on that looks. Let me just do this while we're sitting here talking. So we got, just in case you're looking at it on a smaller screen. So right now in the middle right here is FAMI. BBBY is up here at the top. That's Bed Bath & Beyond. It's gapping down, and then I got CLOV down here on the bottom. So let me pull that up real quick. So ATER, obviously, everything got kind of hammered to shit yesterday in terms of, but what I liked, I should say, about this when we were talking about this earlier in the week was, that it was kind of holding these other levels. Now it fell through yesterday, so I don't know. But the chart was looking kind of nice to me. Just feeling it out that it didn't look so choppy like a lot of these other ones. And it still has a lot of room to go to hit its all-time highs of $49. So, and I still kind of feel that way. It did, let's see, just go red yesterday on the MACD and fall below 50 RSI. So again, I'm not jumping in this play, but this is the one that I'm keeping an eye on. For potentially to jump back in. And I would rather, when you look at how much upside is there, even if you wait to get in until it breaks this high at 19, when it does, even if you were to jump in there, you still have room to double to hit the all-time high, and who knows how high it'll go after that. But I would just rather at this point, until I maybe see, you can kind of see before its big moves too. It kind of makes it, it kind of stair steps a little bit every time, and gets up. I don't know. I would just rather wait than to buy in right now at 10 and, see this thing come down and level out at 4 before taking off. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not looking to play it per se, but this is one that I'm definitely watching. The other one that I've been kind of intrigued with, we talked about, was IRNT. This one already had a huge squeeze, but this Ortex data on that thing for almost 3 weeks now. The cost to borrow has been insane, like 800%, 900%, and today it's 673%. Not a huge free float, but utilization's at 100. So there's not a lot of short interest, I guess I should say, or even shares on loan, but utilization's at 100 and cost to borrow is at 673. So that's one that I just kind of been watching too, just because to see how that plays out with that high of a cost to borrow. You would think that shorts would be trying to get out as quick as possible, unless they're just not holding it overnight and they're just shorting intraday and then returning the shares every day. With that cost to borrow, I would kind of imagine maybe that's the case. Rob Blank, what's up? Are you riding BBIG as well? So for me, I jumped out of everything. I'm still holding my CLOV position and my GameStop position. But I went all cash two Mondays ago. I bought back into my AVXL play, which was a long-term play for me, more of an investment. But I've just been kind of waiting. BBIG is one that, I kind of I know they have the merger coming up and everything. And after seeing the way that like SPRT played out, I like BBIG. I think it's got some potential to, take back off and continue running and hit new highs and everything else. But again, I'd rather, play this safe. And even if you miss out on the move from, 6 to 776, I would rather wait. And I'm looking at a daily chart right now. Maybe wait for it to break one of these highs, like break above 8, to see that it's really ready to keep going, jump on there, and then ride it up to 1250, and be looking to exit at 1250 in case it kind of tops out. If it blows through, hold on for the ride. But just trying to play some of these other ones a little bit safer, because we've seen this happen with a lot of these short squeezes this year where they have this huge pop. The numbers are making it seem like it's still this strong play. You can go on there and quote Ortex every day and say, hey, look, estimated short interest is through the roof. Cost to borrow is through the roof. Utilization's at 100. There's no more shares available to short. And then they just short it to shit. And really, I think it's more of an options play where, they're trying to drive it down until IV levels out, and that's when you'll start seeing movement in the stock again. Is when IV gets lower and you see that's when you'll see big whales coming in with the option game, which is going to leverage the stock and get it to move higher. And I'm talking, not necessarily about BBIG right now, but just in general. That's kind of what we've seen play out is all of a sudden. So I just pulled up BBIG while we're talking, but it looks like we got 30% roughly short interest. Looks like an increase this morning. So 31%. Cost to borrow still 30%, not bad. 92 utilization. So like all this stuff is the type of great numbers that you'd love to see for a short squeeze type play. But then when you look at IV starting to lower too. And this is more so what I was getting at is when you have these options, and then also max pain is, I think that was one of the other reasons that I had kind of backed off of BBIG 2 weeks ago, and set it on here like I'm gonna wait and kind of write this one down and come back to it later. Is because I think these are still great plays. But like max pain right now for BBIG is 650, and we've seen how that plays out with so many other stocks. And I think they'll continue to kind of pin this thing to max pain until they can get the IV to lower down. Right now, IV on this is 186. If I was gonna play this one right now, and I was a bull on BBIG and wanted to build a position in it, knowing that max pain's around 6, maybe sell some puts. You could even sell like the $7 put, October 15th, $7 put, you're getting paid $1.90 for. That's 700 and 700 in premium right now. If you wanted to get filled, I should say. Okay, so if you wanted to buy this stock, you would maybe do it like this. Go into the money with the put. You're going to get a higher premium, and then you're almost going to guarantee to get filled and buy this stock for a lot cheaper. If you don't want to get filled and you just want to, collect premiums, maybe go a little bit further out to like a 43 days out. And for some reason, these prices aren't updating on mine. Oh, not available. Okay. Let's go further out, 50 days out. But you could sell this $5 put for $1.15. That's going to put, for $500 in capital that you're cash secured with, you're going to get $1.05 back. So $105. So you're making 20% gains on your capital, easy. Now, if, with max pain being at 650 right now, if you're a bull on this stock, this is a play I would do, something like this. Because now, and then if the stock does take off, you could just buy out of these puts for dirt cheap. Otherwise it's a nice way to kind of make 20% while they play this kind of IV game. Because the way that I see a lot of these plays going, and anyone who's been in CLOV has seen the same thing. They'll continue to pin this thing at max pain until they can suck as much as they can out of this IV and get this IV all the way down. I mean, there was a time where CLOV had 170, 180, 200. You look at it now, we're under 100 now, 86, 89, 91, 90, 106. So they've kind of like sucked all the premiums out that they can, and made as much money off that volatility that you can. And that's why I think now, this is when the options are a little bit cheaper. This is when maybe you'll see some whales come in and start to load this thing up across the board. And maybe that's when we'll see the next movement. But they've been doing this with a lot of stocks. I'm talking market makers now, even GameStop. This is unreal. I haven't seen GameStop, with IV below 80 shit, and as long as I can remember, even when I first started playing GameStop in late December, early January, I want to say the IV was already pushing 90 to 100. So they've been playing this game for a while now with a lot of these stocks. I was shocked the other day. I was looking at AMC, and even just to see AMC right here at like low 100s. I mean, this thing's been always at like 160 to 200 on the low end in IV. So they're really taking advantage of those premiums, and for me, um, that's kind of the play with these stocks. If there's a specific stock that you're bullish on, or maybe you're in already. Let's say you're already in a BBIG. Let's say you're already in, ATER or SDC or some of these squeeze plays that I still have great long-term potential, but in the short term, SDC is another one that I know in the short term has already been pinned to Max Payne, right? I think we saw that last week. So Max Payne on SDC is like 550. Once they kind of get it to that point again, they kind of like, and we're already seeing it. The IV starting to drop, and they're gonna keep doing that and pinning it there and taking advantage of both put and call buyers, and just trying to like milk it down. And until they get it down, once they get it down, then I think we'll see some movement again. So if you already own the shares, take advantage of it. Maybe sell covered calls. If you're bullish on the stock, maybe sell puts and just take advantage of that high IV right now. Collect some premium in the short term. And to me, I would rather sell puts than sell covered calls. I really would, just because if I'm bullish on a stock, and I think like let's say I was holding some SDC right now, and my long term range was I wanted to get up to $16. Back to this all time high or something. I don't want to sell a covered call for $8 and get my shares called away. I would rather just sell puts on it, and that way, if the stock dips down and I get assigned, I liked it anyways. I wanted to own it anyways. I actually saved money by not buying the stock here and by selling the puts. And now when it came down, I got assigned here. That's kind of the mindset that you got to have when you do that. But if you sell covered calls, now you're betting against a stock that you own. And while you could be taking advantage of the premium, I don't know. I just get kind of like leery about. I don't want to get my shares called away, especially in the bigger plays. Plays that maybe have the potential to squeeze up higher. And I'm not talking about SDC in general. I just have that one on the screen right now. Patrick Zane says, "Is Max Payne applied to VIH since it's a SPAC?" Yeah, I mean it doesn't really matter. Like Max Payne right now for VIH is $10. So all Max Payne is where a market maker would want to pin a stock, right? So, and Max Payne doesn't always play out or anything like that. Like if you kind of just took I'm gonna put FAMI up here just because that seems to be the one that's really moving today. Even though it's kind of coming down right now. Let's see. Okay. So, the thing with Max Payne is like stocks go on huge runs every day, whether it be based on news. I mean, there's thousands of stocks out there, and tomorrow there could be 400 stocks or whatever that make a 5-6% run, and end up at the ending the day well above Max Payne. Then you could have some other stocks that get negative news. Maybe the market has a downturn and they end up way below Max Payne, where now the puts are making money. So it's not always a thing where things get pinned to Max Payne. I read JG's comment that said coach, and it just threw me off. So it's not always a thing, but what happens is when you get like huge lopsided open interest in one way or the other, then it becomes more profitable for market makers to go in and really pin a price down on a specific security to make that profit off it, right? I mean, in a perfect world, I think they would try to pin them all down, but I don't know if that's even possible. But yeah, I mean, all it is just that one level. So like with VIH, if we go look at it, um, and IV's dropping extremely low here too. So here we go. So the $10 strike has 12,000 open interest. And then puts really are outweighing down here at the 750 and the 9. So basically, if you were a market maker, you would want this stock to basically close at like 999, 998, somewhere in there where, all these calls expire worthless, but also these puts over here expire worthless too. And you kind of like, kind of finding that middle ground. And it's a little bit more complicated than that because it has to do with the premiums that were paid for it and all that kind of stuff too. But it's that area where as many, call buyers are going to expire worthless and as many put buyers are going to expire worthless. That way they can kind of middle it and make the biggest profit. So it doesn't matter if it's a SPAC or what it is. It's just you know, every option's expiration. So on October 15th, this is the point where a market maker would want to pin this stock. JG says, what do you think about the interview of Chamath last night? I watched some clips of it. I thought it was cool. I thought, it's good to see him back in the news. It's good to see him back in, I don't want to say the news. That's not really what I'm looking for, but being out here talking about some of these SPACs. He was doing a lot of talking back in January and February, and I think a lot of his SPACs got attacked because of that. Also because, like we've talked about here on before, where SPACs basically threaten the way of life of like old money and how they kind of manipulate the IPO process. Well, not only did SPACs threaten that, but here you got this young dude who's really not part of their inner circle that's coming out and, I think he with social capital and took like Space, Virgin Galactic public, took Clover Health public, SoFi. He's been involved in all these other things. And again, this IPO process threatens the way that they've been able to manipulate, or the SPAC process threatens the way that they've been able to manipulate and profit off of these IPOs in the past. And, not only is he doing that, but then he was out in the media kind of like shit talking as well, right? And so he went silent for quite some time. You know, he got a little active on Twitter, I think, last week. Yesterday in that interview, he did kind of address, I think, I don't think he named Hindenburg. I just saw little snippets, but he addressed that, basically that short report and everything, and talking about how it was BS and how, they had this huge team of lawyers looking into that stuff. And how is it that like this short seller could just come out and do more research than they could, and I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, what I took from it and what I really liked about what he said was, you know, he kind of put the short sellers on blast and talking about how things should change or could change. And, he expressed his confidence in CLOV and in some of his other companies. And I think it's ultimately bullish. I don't know if anything's going to come from it in terms of price action. But it was nice to see him out there. Michael says, not hard to miss me. It's all the way at the top. Did I not say hi this morning, Michael? I didn't even know. Unless you're talking about something totally different that I'm missing. Good morning, Stock Hunter. What's up? Michelle says, Paul up 20% in AH. Man, okay, I'm going to pull this one up because this was one that did not come up on my scan yesterday. And I wasn't really trading yesterday either. But Oh, it's up to, so it's starting to rip again. But I know a lot of my friends, a lot of other people I was talking to traded this, and there was some huge opportunities in this stock today. Jesus, why do I always? There we go. To trade yesterday. I mean, this might just look like this thing started at what 5.30. It broke out $5.30. Kind of hit a high here of 7.60. I mean, that's like a 50% gain there. Then it ran again from like 6.74 all the way up to 11.60. That's almost a 90% gain there. Then it ran again from what, like $9 up to about 13. Again, probably 40% gains. And then ran again from 12 to 15. I mean, and then if you look at over the course of the whole thing from 5, what is that, like 200%? So definitely some opportunities there. I was not a part of it. But this is kind of one of those ones where I was talking about earlier. We're just protecting your, practice risk management, right? Like if you were to jump into this and get in, if you're playing with a tight stop and you're part of this move right here, even the way that I usually day trade, I would have been out here. I mean, you're talking that might look pretty small, but that's already from 623, down to 612. I probably would have got stopped out. I definitely would have been stopped out by here by the time it would have hit 6. Which is fine. That's already a huge profit there. I mean, that's what from it's early. I'm trying to do some math here, but a dollar gain off $5, that's a 20% gain. Right there, 20%. You know what I mean? So I definitely would have been stopped out somewhere in here or been taking some profit, like shaving some off, and probably been out and missed this whole run here, but who cares? Then maybe, look to jump in when you see the breakout. So it came down. I got stopped out here. I don't care if I get in for a higher price. It breaks out here, jump back in. You ride this from 626, up to 695. Again, that's a 10% at least gain, and get stopped out again. Protect your downside. Protect your investment. Practice risk management. But that's 30% you just made there, and then you're waiting for another breakout. And now you just got it right here, jump in at 725, ride it up to 825, another 10% gain, and then you get stopped out or whatever. That's the way I like to trade, just because, sure, you may not get all those gains, but it's all about risk management, right? You don't want to just be sitting in a stock, because I'll tell you right now, this stock ran all the way up to 15.12 yesterday from $5. It's really easy to just jump in and say, okay, I'm jumping in at 10. We're going back to 15. Well, this thing can easily go down to 5 too. So just make sure you're watching it, or make sure you got a stop loss set, anything like that. But yeah, this one offered some great opportunities yesterday, and I know a lot of people made some money off it too. I want to say Al Trades was talking about it in his Discord, threw this one out there. I know Ghost was trading this one yesterday along with the L Train, or I don't know. People, I feel like everybody I was talking to was jumping all over PALT yesterday, except for me. I was sitting at work not making money. DJ Tardis, what's up? Lonnie Gomez says family to 60 at open easy. Where we at there? 0.46 right now. So it did hit a high of 0.49. Still some time though. About 45 minutes to open, so I could see that. David Johnson, good morning. Shrimply McPibs, what's up? VN. Good to hear. Good to see you in here. Pennies for a burnout's war story. SDPI is the next meme stock. I'm gonna write it down. I'll check it out. Don't know anything about it. Faith, what's up? Good morning. Thank you for joining. Janati says, Coach, do you know about OCGN? Soon should be WHO approval for Covaxin. So I have a buddy of mine who was playing OCGN back in, I want to say, March. I never got into it just because at the time I didn't have the dry powder. Everybody else was playing, different stocks and shit. I want to say at the time I was waiting on, I forget what stock I was in, but so I'm familiar with it, but I haven't traded it ever. I've never, like I said, I have some friends who've been into it a couple times. Was this? I think this was. Oh, okay, so it was February then when they were playing it. I remember this. And see, I always play, try to play a little bit on the safe side too, a little bit, I feel like. And I remember when this thing popped up then, I was talking to him about the gap fill that existed there. And like, look, dude, you already made big money off the trade. Try to take some money out because he was already in pre. Take some money out and wait for that gap fill for an opportunity. I don't even know if he ever played it. He probably just exited completely. But yeah, don't know much about OCGN. I know it's like a COVID play, a vaccine play, but the one thing that I know is this, and it does look pretty. I like the chart in the sense that what I've seen happen with a lot of these vaccine plays, like if you look at any of them, if you buy in when you get the announcement that they got approval, you're going to get burned. That would be like buying in after hours over here when they got the announcement of whatever this was about, right? And, now it's just going to fall down from there. But right now, I mean, it looks like, from a technical standpoint, if you just sat here and drew your little triangles and all that, I mean, it does look to be forming a big wedge. And, it has the potential to break out in any direction. I do like where that's sitting at. And without knowing enough about this, I would say that, if you were to get into this now and then all of a sudden they make that announcement, you're going to see that pop. And then that's when you'd want to sell, is on that rip that comes off the news. And that's the whole sell the news piece, right? Oh, okay, Michael. I was like, man, what's Michael talking about here? I'm way behind too. Um, Midwest Tom. It looks like days to cover is creeping up with all the low volume days. Do you think this will put pressure on shorts to cover as we get closer to the earnings call? So let me get this back up too, just while we there we go. Yes and no. I mean, will it put I don't think that the days to cover increasing will put pressure on them per se. Something else will put pressure on them. The days to cover is just going to make it harder for them to get out, right? Because all that is, the days to cover is like, which you mentioned there with the low volume days. So the lower the volume, basically, the harder it's going to be for them to get out of the stock. Because, if we're only seeing, I don't even know where CLOV's at right now on a daily on volume. I'll look at it later. But with the decrease in volume right now, it's definitely going to make it harder for them to get out. because in lower volume, any sort of buying pressure should make the stock go up higher. You're going to see lower bid-ask spreads, or wider, I should say, spreads. And so it's definitely going to make it harder for them, but I don't know that it'll put pressure on them. I think what would definitely put pressure is, the earnings call itself. So I guess, yeah, probably. I mean, it's like, really, I feel like at some point they become trapped, right? If you get enough people that are jumping into this stock because of, let's say, a good Q3 earnings, or let's say a star rating increase 2 weeks from now, or any of the things that we've been talking about on here, then it becomes a race to get out. If all of a sudden they realize that their thesis is wrong and they're just screwed, and you have this, whether it be retail or institutional or whatever, pouring back into the stock, and they're driving the price up, and now all of a sudden these guys get trapped. But at that point, when that happens, when the stock starts going up, we're going to see volume pour in. And like even last time when we had that huge day, there was like 700 million in volume in one day. I mean, and I remember saying it the day of, like, any short that was in this stock could have covered in the middle of all this volume, because let's just say there's 70 million shares, on loan and sold short. If you have 700 million in volume in one day being traded back and forth, shorts could have got in and out of there 10 times over. If you take everybody else out of the equation, I guess I should say 5 times over. They could have sold, bought back, 70 million shares, 5 round trips to make up that 700 million volume. So I usually don't put a lot of stock into days to cover because of that. Like, now I do know that, days to cover goes into a lot of like the Fintel and some of the other formulas that come up with like the short interest number. Now if all of a sudden cost to borrow started rising and days to cover was low, I mean, it was really high, that might be an issue for somebody, right? Like, throw fundamentals and everything else out the board. And if you have a stock whose volume is just like nothing, you're sitting at, like how CLOV has been, where volume's dying off. If we saw the cost to borrow increase and now it's becoming more expensive for them to hold this, that would put pressure on them to buy it back. And that would be kind of like a perfect scenario, because now they'd have to buy it back in this low volume scenario where they can't buy out in one day. It's going to take them, whatever the days to cover may be, 8 days, 9 days, 10 days to get out, without spiking the price up. And they don't want to do that. So now they're going to buy, and that's going to get our nice, I think those two more work in tandem together. Oh, Danny said made about 6K yesterday, ended up losing 5. Yeah, that was I don't know if you were in here a little while ago, but I was talking about just, with any of these, just risk management, tight stop losses, anytime. These are some big rips. 822 to 904. I mean, that right there is like a 10% rip. I mean, shit, you're either at that point, I'd have a stop loss just trailing behind, or a mental one. And when even if it's your mental one, don't kid yourself. When it hits, get out, take your profits, always take profits. You look at this rip right here from 894 to 1035. I mean, again, you're looking at well over 10%. Get out. You don't need to be in for the full run. You can hit this stock probably, 10 times throughout the day. And if you could make, with the amount of these rips that it's given you, even if you just made 5% on every one of these, even though we're talking about this is 10, this might be 15, there's all this, but if you just jump in and get 5%, take it and run, stick and move, as Ghost would say, and you could do that 10 times throughout the day, you walk away with 50% gains. shit, that's huge. And just always protect yourself from the downsides. Dave, what's up? Says rug pull yesterday was amazing. I have no position and wanted to watch things play out. Yeah, intraday trades for sure. Just jump in, get out. I haven't been playing at all this week. Last week I was playing some of them with the ATER, I think, and we played a couple other big ones. The week before we played a couple big ones. I just haven't. I haven't had. I've been so busy this week. I can't. I felt yesterday I got some FOMO. I was telling on our group text like, man, I'm ready to quit my job just because I feel like I'm missing out on more money not being sitting at my computer, being able to jump in and out of these trades right now. Cuckoo Bird says exactly how I trade: scale out in steps, lock in early profit, protect your capital. Yeah, it really depends. Like sometimes things are moving so fast, I'll just set a trailing stop, especially if I'm like distracted and I got other stuff going on. But if I'm like really dialed in and focused on one stock, typically when I'm day trading, what I like to have up, and it looks a lot different than this. I don't know if I could even pull it up right here. Let me see. Yeah, the screen's too small right now. But you could I have to make this bigger in order to show you guys. Maybe I'll make a video and one day and kind of, because right now, like, let's say my monitor is this big. Where we at? Let's say my monitor is this big. I just have a little tiny box, is what you guys are seeing, so that I have like these other windows open, and that's why. So a lot of this stuff's condensed. But typically when I'm trading, I don't just have like a minute chart up. So the minute chart is, what I'm looking at to get in and out and find entry points. But I'll also have like a daily chart and sometimes a 5 minute chart or maybe a 4 hour or 1 hour. And that way, even while I'm sitting there, like if I chose that, okay, I'm going to day trade PALT today, while I'm sitting there waiting for my entry point in it, I'll be sitting over here on the other chart, drawing in, strength, resistance, looking back for all-time highs, lows, just different areas that, the stock, seeing how it reacted to VWAP the day before, just kind of like really trying to familiarize myself with the stock so that it kind of gives you more of like an idea of how to trade it, and if you see that this thing has the potential to really run, maybe you run with the looser stop, or just go with the mental one so you know when to get in and get out. Or like when you're making gains that big, sometimes it's just like, man, don't be so greedy and just get out. Just get your stop loss, get out, or like Cuckoo Bird saying, scale in, scale out. I mean, there's different ways to play it, but man, definitely some FOMO on this one from yesterday. Or I guess not FOMO. I already did miss out. I agree. Take the small profits multiple times, and I think it's going to be another wild day with it. Yeah, so I didn't even look at my scanners today. I mean, I think with PALT, BBBY, and FAMI, those are already three plays that I want to watch, but we can see what it says. MPNGF. Yeah, nah, it looks like shit. Excuse my language. Look up the daily chart on some of these. Yeah. All right, there we go. Yeah, so honestly, I like these three right now. If I had to, came across these just through the chat. talking about what happened yesterday, looking at what was running. And the other thing that I'll say too, that I really, really, if day trading something that you're like really getting into, um, or you've been doing for a while, and you're just looking for opportunities to jump in and out of stocks. Sometimes the easiest way to do it is go with stocks that you're familiar with. Like if you there's or sectors you're familiar with, but especially like if you find 4 or 5 stocks that you just watch on the daily, and you always kind of have them up, even if you're just looking at a 5-minute chart or a 10-minute chart, so that occasionally you walk over and you just kind of see how they play, what time of the days they tend to run, do they always have a morning dip, all that kind of stuff. There's opportunities to be made even with on stocks that don't have these big gap ups or gap downs. And those are sometimes always like my go-tos. When I used to day trade every day, it's like if I didn't like what I saw on a scanner one day, it's like, oh, okay, let me go back to Facebook. Because I at the time, and I know I brought this up the other day, but like Facebook always had like a $5 range every day. It just always did. It would like either come down, hit a bottom, go back up, hit VWAP, come down. There was always these opportunities to just jump in and make a buck here or there. And shit, that's good enough, especially like with what Michelle's saying. Take the small profits multiple times. But these big rippers right here, they definitely give some great opportunity. Sitting at work, not making money. Yeah. No, that's at least not making the amount of money that I want to make. Zip Jester, what's up? Good morning. Coach, any plans on scooping up more CLOV off this dip? What would be a good entry point? Shit, I think anything right now is an entry point, man. I really do. Under $8. This is like, now me personally, I don't have any plans to buy any more today. Because I'm kind of like, I've just been moving profits into it, right? Like I talked about the other day. I held my CLOV position. I held my GameStop position. Okay. I went cash on everything else. I ended up buying back my position in AVXL. Um, and I still have my cash from like some of my other positions that I eventually want to reestablish. So I don't want to spend that money. But with some of my other trades that I've been kind of getting in and out of, I've been moving profits into buying more CLOVs. So hopefully I could like maybe cash out some other ones today, and buy more CLOV. But I'm not adding on right this very second. Now, if I had the free capital, if all of a sudden I hit big on, let's say I did trade this PALT and hit shit, I would move it all into CLOV right now at these prices. We've been talking about that. Like this is an insane time. I don't know that I would wait for a dip because you never know. It does seem like every day CLOV kind of takes off a little, then dips down. So you might get an opportunity, but I really feel like at these prices, like, if you could buy now for 746, why wait just to see if you can get in at 730? It's that cheap. Jason Bupp, what's up? Says too many people in here without liking the video. Trenton says check out Hut. Is Hut moving again? Up to 815. I know this is one that Ghost was playing back here, I think, on this part of this run up here, and then jumped out. It looks like it kind of came down. Is looking to. Anytime you get a big run up, you're always going to get some consolidation. There's a shit ton of gaps in here though. Excuse my language, but gaps, gap downs. looks like it filled a lot of the other ones, but you kind of have a gap up that maybe you could look to fill too. I don't know. I don't know much, not much enough about it. Looks like it's going up to 815 right now, which is pretty significant. See if it gets some more volume coming into it. Let's see here. What were we on? PALT. There we go. Cuckoo bird. That's my TA. It looks like shit. I'm not talking about HUD. I'm just talking about. Oh man. But you know, one thing that I like to look at, like if I'm looking for a stock to day trade, you know, to get into, you know, I would rather see, you know, like a nice chart that looks like it's there. Even if I look back at a 4 hour, if you look back at a daily, look back at a 5 minute, and you start looking through the previous charts of this stock and kind of zoom out, I would like to see a stock that looks nice and, you know, that looks like it kind of stair steps or flows, and it, you know what I mean, rather than something that looks like a barcode with something that gaps up and the next day it's down and then it's over here and it's kind of all over the place because, you know, they're so unpredictable. So if you can, you know, that's one thing that, like, even when I do look at the scanners in the morning, you might have 10 plays out there and really you want to condense it down to maybe 4. If you're just starting out, just pick 2. And if you don't get an opportunity to get in those 2 stocks throughout the day because they didn't give you the signal that you needed, whatever, wait for the next day. But don't rush anything. And if you don't like the way that a chart looks, you know, looking at the way CLOV looks right now, how it's just kind of like all over the place. If I'm looking back at the 5 minute of a stock, I would rather pick FAMI because you see how you see this nice like movement, right? The candles are kind of like complete. It's getting volume behind it. I would rather trade this stock than this stock looking purely at the bar charts, you know. If something's got like extremely long wicks, I probably don't want to get into it because now you're going to get stopped out super fast. So, you know, those are just kind of part of the things I'll try to check out. And that's when I say like, oh, this one looks like shit. It's like, I don't want to, I don't know. There's just some, and everybody's different. Some people like to get into, you know, stocks that have the potential to explode, but I would rather play in something that moves a little cleaner. Did you talk about GREE and what do you think about the upgrade and future of the stock? I mean, shit. One, I know, it's highly tied to crypto, right? And probably the performance of Bitcoin. So I think that, you know, keeping an eye on the crypto market if Bitcoin ends up rolling this year, we'll see GREE roll with it. We'll kind of see it. I think it's going to be more like a Riot and Amara. You know, those stocks kind of live and die by, you know, the performance of Bitcoin. And that's perfectly fine. And I think that GREE, you know, again, with that price target's, you know, based on the performance of Bitcoin and how they think it's going to play out too. So with GREE being able to get in right now at $25, I would say this looks like a pretty decent buy, especially with a $78 price tag on it or analyst rating on it. I haven't opened a position in it at all right now. I just have too much kind of either like I was saying with adding on to my CLOV at this point. Like, I love CLOV. I think it's a great investment right now. You know, but and I already own a ton of it. So I'm kind of like, do I want to, you know, I don't want to move my money that I'm holding on to for DraftKings and my money that I'm holding on to for, you know, BNGO and some of my other plays that I'm just sitting on cash on all into CLOV and then be like overextended on it. I already have like 30 something % of my account in it. But anyways, getting back to your question about GREE, It's one that I definitely want to build a position on. I'm just looking for an opportunity to cash out of one of these other plays, so the next time I kind of make a nice chunk somewhere, if it's still trading in this, like, I'd say like sub $30 range where it still has potential to double up from where analyst ratings are, I'll probably still look to get in. Trenton, what do the previous gaps tell you? So there's kind of this theory, or I don't know, self-fulfilling prophecy out there that 9 times out of 10 gaps get filled. Okay. And I say self-fulfilling prophecy because if enough traders believe in that and subscribe to that theory, then it's going to happen, right? So when you see a stock gapped up one day and kept trading up, there's going to be enough people out there that know that that gap exists. And when that stock starts eventually falling down, they're not going to buy in because they're going to be waiting for that gap to fill. So you're going to have a ton of buyers. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands when I could just pull up a daily chart on a stock. So here's PALT, right? And it looks like there's a gap from $4 to, $4.40, or we can even call it $4.57. There's a small gap there. Probably a bad example, but a gap does exist. So at some point when the stock starts falling down, and if it ever gets back down to this, like, $4.60 range, $5 range, and as it's coming down intraday, you'll see a ton of support start building up right around here where that gap started at. And I might be wrong on where I'm at with this mouse, but because we're zoomed out so much. But at the $4 mark, or wherever that gap started, that's where you'll start to see the buyers come in. That's where all the buyers are come in, because nobody wants to buy right above that, because 9 times out of 10 gaps get filled, right? And so if enough people prescribe to that theory, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The stock will fill the gap because that's where everyone's going to come grab it at. And that's kind of, and that works on any chart, whether it be a 5-minute, a daily, or whatever it may be. But, you look back on so many stocks. We'll go back to the CLOV run-up, right? And we were talking about this back then. It gapped up this day this was June 7th, from 1205 to 1662. When it was trading up here, I remember I think I even got out a lot of my options plays here. But when it started trading up in this area, the one thing that I was talking about while we were streaming that day was gap fills, and that there is a ridiculous gap fill down here, and we may need to come down and touch 12 before we ever take off again. And sure enough, it took quite some time, maybe another week, but it did fill the gap. Now, I really thought at this point, when we went back up to 15, that we were ready to make another run, and little did I know we were going to be sitting here trading at 740 4 months later. But that's a whole nother story. But either way, the gap got filled, and that's kind of my point. It'll usually, again, 9 times out of 10, you'll see that it'll happen. Where were we at? PALT. All right. Day late, dollar short. What's up? Thomas O'Connell, good morning. I just reread what you said when you said just kidding. So you said just liked you per request. Right on. Thank you. Is ATER moving right now? I see Kamal talking about it. Sitting at 999. It's kind of roughly where it closed at yesterday. I really do like ATER. If I had to pick one, like, gun to my head, pick one of these squeeze plays that you think is gonna take off the soonest or has the biggest potential to, I would probably pick ATER. Like, if you had to say one to throw your money into right now, I just love the chart, and I love, kind of all the everything else going on with it. That being said, I do not have a position in ATER. Kenneth Wallace, Gunslinger. Yeah, no shit. I'd love to see some gap ups for CLOV too. um, let's see. Very Disturbed. Good morning. Kaiser Sose says CLOV now has several upper gaps. Yeah, gaps that we're eventually gonna fill up to the upside. Aco says good morning. I'm so tired of CLOV. It is. It's pretty frustrating. It really is. But I know I've talked about. I've always been involved in other stocks, and anyone who's been with this channel when I first started streaming, before the June run up, I've always had other stocks that I've been into and stuff. But I'm not going anywhere. I still own my position. I know what I hold, and this may end up being a longer term hold, and that's why I've kind of like. I always talk about how I'm kind of impatient, and to cure my own impatience, that's why I've been kind of doing these scans every day and finding some runners that just kind of jump into and something to keep my mind off it and kind of trade a little bit because I was not expecting to be in a play this long. In terms of for me, it was a swing trade, and it still is a swing trade. But the more I learned about the company and learned about what was going on with the company, and this isn't, I said this on my Saturday video last week. This isn't like, oh, well, he's just stuck, holding some bags, and that's why he wants to stay in this stock for a long term investment. No, I made a pretty decent profit in June, and got out a lot of my options position, chose to hold on to some of my stock position, but even that was like average price of like $8 then, and I've continued. I kind of averaged up, averaged down, and I continue to build into it. So this is like by choice. Like I chose to re-enter and I'm choosing to continue to get into it. Because I think that this could be a triple digit stock. I really do. And I don't see this same type of potential in other plays. But it's frustrating. Like you said, it's kind of like, I'm kind of tired of it at this point. I want to see it take off so that we can all kind of take some profits and start digging into some other things. Let's see. Chef Daddy's in the house. Look into news on Workhorse for the bag I'm still had to look into. Yeah, you know what? One thing I did notice with Workhorse in regards to that is I started to see it pop up on some short squeeze lists again. I haven't heard anything about that. I know Sean Stocks was covering Workhorse on the last run up. And I think he was part of that, like got into that stock. Or maybe it was Dutch Trades. One of the other guys that was making videos about CLOV, I want to say it was Sean, was also covering Workhorse, and so I saw one or two videos, but I never knew much about it. But right now, like with Ortex, it's showing that the short interest is 40%. Cost to borrow, is at 12% right now. Utilization's at 100%. So it definitely has the the numbers working for it, but also, what ends up happening with these stocks is they need some momentum behind them too. Um, so I mean, Workhorse was up here at 42. Again, I don't know anything about this, but looks like it just hit an all-time low. Is that correct, or is that just the low of the year? Oh no, looks like it was trading in 37-cent range way back when. This is a weekly view now. But looks like it's got some kind of like historic support right here. Just looking back and shit. If I saw some sort of a trend reversal here, I might be looking to jump in on this too. Just from it looks like it just went green on the MACD. RSI is still oversold, but man, that kind of being at its all-time low with or at least low of the year in that same range right now, or 70 cents off of it with those kind of short numbers. I like that. I really do. All right, that's PALT again up here. Kyle, what's up? Good morning. Kaiser says, I'll wait for CLOV to hit triple digits for years if I have to. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. It kind of just became more of an investment for me, but I almost want to like transfer it into my investment account so I don't have to look at it every day. But then I have fun kind of sitting here and talking about it too, though. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that long. I really don't. I think that we're going to see some movement here. We have the potential with the star ratings coming up in 2 weeks. We have the potential with quarter 3 earnings coming up in November, I believe. Pretty positive it's in November. And so we have a couple, we have a couple potential catalysts coming up right now, plus anything that happens on the tech side, any further expansions the company may announce. So definitely could see some exciting times here in the next couple weeks. You know what, Michelle? It's funny. My wife just told me that last night. I was so busy yesterday. I went straight from work to football practice. I got home. I was making dinner. We sitting down with the kids eating, and she pulled it up. I think she saw it on ESPN.com or something. And she was telling me, man, they definitely are bringing some veterans over there. I mean, they lost. Obviously, the Bucks just lost this week to the Rams, but you know that they got, I think Tom Brady, and I think Richard Sherman was quoted as saying something like that. Like when you get a call from Tom Brady, you definitely got to reconsider it or consider your options or whatever he may have said. But ultimately, the point was you get a dude like Tom Brady that's calling you up and saying, "Hey man, come over here and let's try to win a championship together." More than likely, you're probably going to do it. And that's something that, as much shit as I talk about Tom Brady, just joking around about the cheating and everything else like that. I'm more so just joking. Like, this is a dude that when he was with New England was consistently, like taking pay cuts to make sure that they can keep their roster together, and keep it under the salary cap. I mean, and you see other superstars in this very same position, and they'd rather go trade teams and move to a different team to go get the bigger payout. Obviously, it's a little bit easier for someone like Tom Brady, who's also getting the endorsements and the money everywhere else. But I guess what you could see is true competitive spirit. Like a lot of these guys would never, take a pay cut just to, for the chance of winning a championship. And this dude has. And I think he's known around the league, obviously as a guy who's a true competitor, and he's one of the greatest of all times, and just what he's doing at that age, And Richard Sherman, just being a 49er, I used to hate him when he was a Seahawk, but then when he came over to be a 49er, he was a leader on the defense, almost like a coach on the field. If you listen to some of the interviews with the players, and I think he'll be good on the Bucks. I really do, even if it's just a 1 year thing. To me, that the Buccaneers offense has already been like amazing. And that's going to be a huge upgrade for both their defense and their locker room. I really believe so. Josh says, I think people came to CLOV for the squeeze. Yeah. I hear you with that. Unfortunately, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people may have jumped in at the top, maybe averaged down. I know not everybody did, because I mean, like I said, I was doing these streams before the squeeze, and I recognize a lot of the familiar faces that have been on since back then. So I know not everybody got in on the top, and for those of you guys that did, I feel for you, and that's one of the reasons I want to see this thing pop back up so that people can get out at a nice profit, especially if you've been continuing to like kind of lower your average and that sort of thing. We had the potential to make. I think this stock has the potential to make people millionaires. I keep saying it. It's a millionaire maker. It's a little bit early for me to do some math right now, but at some point, if you can bring yourself to accumulate 10,000 shares, 10,000 shares times $100 is $1 million. And even if you're sitting on way lower, share amount than that right now, as this stock continues to go up, I'm pointing at PALT while I'm talking about CLOV. CLOV's down here. As this stock continues to go up, and let's say it goes on its next rip, and you're able to make a move from $7 to $50, take profits, put some money in your pocket. When it falls back down to 20 or wherever that new kind of baseline is, buy back in and double up your double your position, or whatever you feel comfortable with. And then when it goes on its next rip up from 20 to 60, take profits, put some money in your pocket, right? And then when it levels back out, slowly build up your position. But I know one thing: by the time it's definitely given everybody a lot of opportunities to continue to load the boat on this stock, and it's going to be a triple-digit stock. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but could be next year, could be next week. But I have faith, I have confidence in it that's where it'll be trading at one day, and that's why I don't mind that it's down here. I'll just continue to roll profits into it. Kenneth says Sherman has jail time. I don't know about that at all. I know he played with the Jets. I believe he went to the Jets with Salah when he left the Niners to go be the head coach over there. I don't know anything else about that. Okay, Chef Daddy said I must be hella behind. Said it was Sean. Okay, so Bennett. There goes the bell. So Chef Daddy said utilization's been 100% on Workhorse for a while now. And that also, just talking about bringing us, circling back to what we were talking about earlier, right? These guys absolutely have the ability to manipulate these stocks. We've seen it over and over and over again, and it's just a matter of playing the game. It could be one of those things where after that last run up, they're really trying to just hammer it down until they drop IV down. And IV right now is down to 118. And that's one of the other reasons that I think these stocks move in cycles too, is, you get the high IV on a run up, and everyone's loading into options. that's when you want to be selling calls. That's when you want to be selling puts. Okay. Then when you get to these scenarios now where like IV on workhorse leaps are at 90%, to me, that's when you would go in and buy yourself some workhorse if you're bullish on the stock and build a long-term position in it. You know, it's cheaper than buying shares right now. You're giving yourself more than a year for the play to play out. You could leverage your money a little bit better. You know, this is the perfect opportunity to buy leaps in a workhorse, in a CLOV, in a, you know, any of these stocks that the IVs continue to drop on. And that's just always been my biggest rule of thumb is like, you know, when you're talking about a stock that you're bullish on or whatever, high IV, even if something you're bearish on, whatever, because the same works for puts. But when IV's high, sell options. When IV's low, buy options. Or if you're not comfortable with selling options, when IV's high, buy shares. When IV's low, buy options. That's always kind of been my quick you know, rule of thumb on those type of things. Looks like PALT might be a big mover again today. Got FAMI right here. BBBY hit a low of 1554 coming off of a close yesterday of $22. So it's down 30% right now. And, you know, you may see some trying to gap fill up a little bit. CLOV came down and hit 727. I'll move CLOV over here because I'm not day trading PALT right now. Let's see. And yeah, FAMI is actually moving a little bit. Just looking around real quick. So the SPY is up $2 today, trading at 436 right now. Looks like GREE is down 1%, SDC 1%, TMC down 3, trading at 420 on the dot. ATER up not much. Or now it just went flat. It was up like 3 cents. It's still early. Candles are moving around. Nothing big happening anywhere else. Yeah. Nothing too newsworthy. In terms of stock prices that I'm looking at right now. Says, Coach, what do you think about Champ Vibes Adam and Eve analysis? I don't know anything about it. I don't know if that was like a new video he put out or something. I'm not sure, but you know, from what the videos that I have seen, I've watched some of Champ Vibes streams. You know, sometimes he does them at night and he goes over TA on a lot of stocks. I think dude knows what he's talking about. I really do. I think he's a very intelligent guy, and you know, nothing negative to say about his analysis or anything at all. So, but I have no idea what you're talking about with the Adam and Eve analysis. I didn't see it. Noir says, good luck today, everyone. Absolutely. No matter what you're doing, if you're day trading, if you're entering into some swing trades, if you're only holding on to some stocks, you know, if you're just 100% in CLOV or, you know, whatever it may be, good luck to everybody. Let's make some money. Deo, what's going on? Dave says Tom Brady's the GOAT. Ghost says hit that like button. What's up, Ghost? What's going on? CPA, I love the football talk. Absolutely. You know, Peyton Manning was probably my all-time favorite. I don't know why. I love watching Peyton Manning. I guess I should say in this same era between like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, who else? Drew Brees. You know, there was all these great quarterbacks that just kind of played in the last like 20 years, I should say, 15 to 20 years. Um, Peyton Manning was by far my favorite. Which I don't know if anybody watched the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning on Monday night. They had like on a separate channel. They were commentating. That was pretty cool. Um, by the way, Ghost is in here. Go follow him. I put a link down below in the video to his YouTube channel. Me and Ghost do a show where we talk half stocks, half football. So if you're into football, NFL, the show is actually called NFL No Financial Limits. We talk stocks in the first half. We do it every Monday night. Go give him a follow on YouTube, and come check us out this Monday. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking. Kenneth, I seen your. Michael says TMB, typical morning bullshit. Absolutely. Very disturbed. What's your pick for the survivor pool this week? I haven't made the pick yet. I gotta go. I have to do it, and I forgot last week, so I ended up having to pick on Monday night. Luckily I chose the Cowboys, but I didn't pick yet. Now Michael's trying to get you to get eliminated. No, I am not bullish on Jacksonville whatsoever. Like if I had to pick tonight's game, I would take the Bengals in a heartbeat. I really think, and we were talking about this on the No Financial Limits show the other day. Ghost and I were, but I think it's really that AFC North is so loaded with the Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, and who I think is going to win the division, the Ravens. But they're all looks pretty damn solid, and I think the Bengals are showing right now that they might even be a contender in the division. So, yeah, I think I see the Bengals winning tonight for sure. That being said, that means they'll probably lose because I haven't been hitting on my picks since week one. So, um, let's see. Yeah, Pat. No, I hear you, Pat. Like, and I get that part of it. Like with he said I'd be complaining less if I had more dry powder. I absolutely get that, and it's like, um, we got more opportunities, and that's obviously not financial advice, obviously. But if it was me, and I know that there's some people that maybe went 100. And I'm not saying you did, Pat, but went 100% in one stock. And if you are, it could be really frustrating, to be sitting in this situation. Um, if I was 100% in this stock, and obviously you have other means of income, you have a work job, whatever, where you can get dry powder down the road. I wouldn't continuously dump it into CLOV. I just wouldn't. Um, Again, not financial advice, but just because for me, diversification is key, right? And even if you don't want to hold any other stocks long term and you only want to be in CLOV, that's fine. But I would still want to keep some dry powder around to make some other plays, and be able to build up my account size. That's just me, though. That's the way that I trade. So, yeah, Pat says, glad Chamath called these scumbags out. Let's see. Sal says, Ride is popping. Huh. Take a look real quick. Oh, yeah, it looks like it closed yesterday at 7:30, up at $9 right now. Huh. Got some news behind that or what? Lordstown nears deal to sell EV plant to an Apple supplier. At 3:43 a.m., Lordstown names or nears deal to sell Ohio plant to Taiwan's Foxconn. Okay. Ghost says because I like the Ravens. I yeah, I kind of like the Ravens. If I had to pick an AFC team to root for right now, it'd be it'd probably be the Ravens. I don't know who else is in the AFC. The Chiefs are fun to watch too, though. I really like watching the Chiefs. I like. It's funny. I picked the two teams that last beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. I didn't mean to do that either. It just kind of happened, but they're both fun to watch right now. The Ravens really are. I think. I love. You know, Lamar Jackson makes the game exciting. So does Patrick Mahomes. I like watching them play. They're a lot more exciting to see run around than Ben Roethlisberger. I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Oh, the waffle maker. Man, Green Bay. That was a rough game. Let's see. Mike in DC said, "I just realized CLOV is at 7:30. I feel like Rip Van Winkle." I'm just laughing at Ghost because I'm throwing some cheap shots at the Steelers right now, and he's getting mad. I'm just messing with you, bro. I like how this turned into an NFL show right now. I like Herbert from the Chargers a lot too. That was my pick for the AFC West this year because I figured the Chiefs would have a down year. Still too early to see one at 1-2, but kind of that whole Super Bowl hangover and everything. But right now, it's almost looking like the Raiders might take that division, sitting at 3-0. Ghost, you're cracking me up right now. Says I'll have a code. He'll have no financial limits. Mine will be called financial limited. All right, guys. So I'm gonna take off now. It's almost 6:45. Thank you everybody for joining. If you're still alive in the survivor pool, make sure you put your picks in. We're getting close. If you want to pick a game tonight, today would be your last opportunity. Otherwise, you have until Sunday morning. But if you procrastinate and wait like I did, you're going to miss out, and then you're going to get stuck with the Monday night game. So make sure you get your picks in. Also, like I said, make sure you go follow Ghost. His channel's down below in the comments of this video, or not the comments, the description. Check us out on Monday. No financial limits. And yeah, I think that's it. Have a great day trading. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hold on, we got one before I sign off. We're gonna let Michelle take us out with this message. The Ravens will smack you with those terrible towels. All right, guys, we'll see you later.